I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
House.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So last time I saw you guys was, I think at
The Music Box, right?
Flow premiere?
Yeah.
For Lovers Only?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, for Lovers Only.
Yeah.
You did, right?
Yeah, and you were there.
Yeah, that was, dude, I
It was
loved it.
nice. It came out nice.
I seriously, I dug it a lot.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
dug it a lot. It was a super cool flick.
We just showed it at USC
Right, I saw that on
Yeah,
Facebook.
yeah, it was really nice.
I couldn't believe the projection.
It was great.
I mean, the sound of the projection.
It looked good there too.
That was-
I mean,
that's
they
the
dropped
serious,
they dropped
that's
some
serious
coin in
Star
that
Wars
place.
money
Yeah.
right there. That's
Yeah,
Star Wars money.
Yeah, it's
No.
the
Yeah.
Ray Stark Theater, and
Yeah.
that facility is amazing.
Yeah, so I love the whole
Yeah.
part about, first of all, we're with Mike and Mark Polish, the Polish brothers
Right.
in the house.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
talking about, for me, it was really great to have you guys on the show and be on the
Yeah.
show because it's about,
Appreciate
you guys go from totally indie flicks,
Yeah.
like For Lovers Only,
yeah.
and then you have
Astronaut Farm, which is
Astronaut Farm, which
yeah.
is a huge film,
Huge, yeah.
huge film,
Right.
But the big thing we talked with Mark all the time was about just the spirit of having that indie go-to thing. That's kind of what I've always been
Yeah,
trying to
no,
do.
that's
for
what
me.
we
Just
watched
kind
you,
of-
and that's what we always admired about you is that you have the same spirit,
Yeah.
and that's why
Well, we
we've always
connect.
connected.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you guys went to I think you went to the comedy thing though.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we did.
Yeah, and it's that's kind of it's just we just went out and did it.
Yeah.
It's one of those
And
things.
that's the do-it-yourself. That's what we have left.
That's all they right.
You have to spend yourself in this medium.
Yeah.
That's all you have is you pick up your camera and do what you need to get done.
Yeah,
You can't-
absolutely.
And now it's even more apparent that you can make even more mistakes because the technology is allowing you to keep doing it over and over. It's costing you less for your mistakes.
Right.
Whereas when we first started, you burn through film. It's very hard to redo it.
That's it,
Whereas
yeah,
you pick
absolutely.
up a Canon 5D Mark II, and you don't like it, you can keep doing it. And
Right,
You
so-
can learn your craft.
Right. And that's always been the weird thing with
yeah.
me is like where I didn't have the opportunity to go to film school or anything like that. It was all kind of like
Neither did I.
Yeah.
right. It was
Yeah,
all kind of
yeah.
on the job training.
Yeah.
So I always say like the funny thing for me is like all my stuff is like you could see my whole film school
Yeah.
on Netflix or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
and you see
exactly.
the progression, and it's
Yeah.
tough because you take
Yeah.
the tough hits,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you're like,
you do.
like fuck it, whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
I always
you're
heard,
working it out.
I heard
right?
a good quote with I think it was the first Sundance. I can't recall. He says, your mistakes become your style.
I like that.
And
That's
I always
great.
believe that. And I was thinking, like, inherently you're going to make mistakes. Just embrace them.
Yeah, also, the
Right.
restrictions of the restrictions as an independent filmmaker is basically one thing: the lack of money,
Right.
which means the lack of time. So you're forced into the corners to make something of an expression and say this is what it is, but you're not graded on a curve when it gets shown.
It's
So when
absolutely.
So when you have one master and you only have a couple over the shoulders and you say that's all I got,
right.
it looks like a lack of filmmaking. No, it's a lack of money, but you can't stand in front of the audience and say, look,
Absolutely.
I didn't have money to finish this. I had to figure out the math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Without
said the
money.
same thing when we did Shoot
Yeah.
the Hero.
Yeah.
It's like it looks kind of there's pieces that are
Yeah.
just huge shootout scenes,
Yeah.
this and
Yeah.
that, but then you're like, there's no coverage. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, no shit,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
no
no
coverage.
coverage,
We had no
so,
time.
so we just
It's
call
the
it the
same
French
thing.
New Wave.
Yeah.
Fresh-
yeah.
That's the new. That's
what
the
we
new
said. We
thing.
said, yeah, we just
I
said,
love
look,
that's a new genre. We need to
yeah,
get fresh
it's-
new wave.
Yeah, we just, we're missing pieces.
mean,
we
the-
jump cut time. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
they were doing that in the 60s.
It's true.
It was just, that's what we did.
Style.
Now for Lovers Only,
Yeah.
you guys ran around gay period
Yeah, completely.
and made out with a hot chick
Yeah,
the whole
right.
time.
Yeah.
Tough life.
Yeah, right, completely.
So, no, but I dug
Yeah.
the style. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys are such visual.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, you're such a
Come on,
visual
yeah.
director, and it's just, and the writing was so sharp. I really dug it. I mean,
Yeah, that was an exercise that we hope that inspires a lot of filmmakers to say, it was just me shooting, Mark and Stonicadic from
and
Castle.
a boom guy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And most of the time they were
Lobbed up.
like this.
Lobbed up, and I would check this. I would either check the levels and go on the set.
Right.
I mean, it's very. We had a PA and an additional producer that would kind of make sure the rooms were ready or
Yeah.
wherever we had to go.
Right.
There was
basically carry the
a
baggage.
kid named Sean O'Grady who did a lot of the digital downloading at the end of the day
Right.
to do all the data management.
Right.
And that was it. That was us four.
Yeah, that's an amazing thing to
Yeah.
our audience on
Yeah.
Short Showcase is kind of like that. Dude, you can have the ability now
Yeah.
to take a camera.
Yeah, you do.
And go make a movie.
Yeah.
And you guys are. That's why I loved having you
Yeah.
guys on the show.
Yeah.
You guys have done it, not just
Yeah.
are and doing it.
Right. Yeah. That's probably being our 8th feature film
Right.
is probably the best example of independent filmmaking
Absolutely.
for today.
Yeah.
Absolutely, no doubt about it.
And, and not to just jump, into that, 8th film. We took all the knowledge we knew of storytelling, obviously, but
Right.
everything that we did was to help a camera that fell short a little bit.
Yeah.
you know, we made it black and white because the color didn't uphold.
Totally.
So I mean, it was really taking in consideration everything to enhance a story that was very limited.
Right.
We knew we were going to do French New Wave, which you could cut
Right.
footage back to footage. You didn't have to get the coverage you needed.
Right.
Those type of things, and take all that in consideration
Yeah.
when we made that story.
No, you guys
Yeah.
are super cool.
Yeah. It was cool. It was a lot of fun.
It looked like a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. And it was great to work with Mark in that way. And Stana was great. For a
Looked
director,
amazing.
to run the camera and to be that close with the actors,
Right.
that type of performance usually doesn't come because you do have a crew.
Right.
And
You're
you have
sep- there's a
there's
separation.
always a
Yeah, yeah.
separation. And there's always a monitor.
Right.
So literally, being in bed with Mark was great.
It's nice.
Yeah.
You know, brotherly love. It's
Yeah,
a
brotherly-
romance.
Yeah, it was a romantic.
Keep it real romance.
It was great because as as the actor, you didn't have people coming in there prodding you and pricking you and doing all the things that necessary. Your makeup, there was
Right,
no
like,
makeup.
shh.
Yeah, doing and disrupting this kind of
Flow.
Yeah, this
Right.
flow with the actress, and you're just there, and you didn't have to find the light or
It
the
was
angle.
very
Mike
real.
was just like
Super real.
jumping. He was
Right.
jumping bed, jumping back, forth,
I
and it
loved it.
allowed you to be
Right.
a different type of actor.
No, yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, that's, you know,
Yeah.
like that's kind of this where I'm kind of learning where I'm
Yeah.
at. Like
Yeah.
the first thing I did was like, you know, whatever, 10 grand. We were
Yeah.
just jumping around
Yeah.
the cameras.
Yeah.
And there's a sense of freedom you
Yeah.
have that
Yeah.
you will not have
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
have more money.
exactly.
And I love that you guys went back to that sense
Yeah.
of freedom.
Yeah.
You could tell because it's super intimate. I
Yeah.
mean, you're like, boom.
Yeah, it's a
you're there.
keyhole. It's
Yeah.
keyhole drama. I mean, it's like
Totally.
you're looking through
You're
a
right
keyhole.
there, and it's.
yeah.
But I think people are just so voyeuristic,
Yeah, yeah,
anyways.
yeah.
It's like you're peeking
Yeah.
into this
Yeah,
crazy little relationship.
yeah, exactly.
And at the end, you're like, amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It
It
worked.
was.
So next up for you guys is
Well, we're finishing Big Sur, the
Okay.
Jack Kerouac piece,
Right.
which we
Starring-
shot last week. Sean Mark Barr, Josh Lucas, Kate Bosworth,
right.
Stana.
Stana's in it. Yeah.
Right.
And that's to deal with Jack Kerouac. After On the Road, the few years after he wrote On the Road, he wrote a book called Big Sur. It was basically how he dealt with the sort of his fame and what happened to him
Yeah.
with the exposure of writing a book about a Beat Generation.
Right.
And he wrote a book called Big Sur, and it's basically his breakdown
Okay.
in the place Big Sur in California.
Nice.
And
It's like Barfly on the
it's
beach.
it's like Barfly on
Okay.
the beach, and
Yeah.
it was a great piece to do because it did have quite a bit of money behind it, and it was expansive.
Right.
But what was nice is that you can still take the experience of For Lovers Only and
Right.
bring it to the actors, which I
Absolutely.
learned a lot working with Mark and Stana. I was able to approach actors in an intimate way.
Right. Now you guys started off as short filmmakers.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I mean, we started off in basically New York. and,
Okay.
Mike had we had a little 16.
16 areas, and I'd put 100-foot roll of film in there, and it was a Thrifties. I believe it was a Thrifties down by New York University. It was a drugstore, and you would drop off your film, and they would give it back to you the next day, and it was
Yeah.
reversal.
Cool.
And me and Mark we stayed at the Chelsea, and Mark would wake up, and we would film scenes inside this room, and it was just one source light of a light bulb, and I pretty much learned how to shoot a movie with Mark being the actor, and we'd cut these things together. And when we decided to do a sync sound picture,
Right.
we go, let's go back to our roots, and we were born in El Centro, and we moved to Sacramento.
In the house.
Yeah, in the
right.
house.
In
We
the
went to El
house.
Centro, and being of Mexican descent,
Right.
machismo. We decided, we were really big fans
Right.
of boxing. We were really huge fans of boxing.
Yeah.
We were big followers of Oscar De La Hoya,
Right.
and watched his career from the Olympics. And
Totally.
we go, let's make a movie about boxing, how we used to box as kids. And
Right.
it's such a Mexican sport, and Mexican
Totally.
fighters are just brilliant
know.
at what
Yeah.
they do. And
They
there's
ace.
no
Right.
type of fighter like the Mexican fighter. And so
Right.
we based a short on Mexican fighting in our neighborhood.
Nice.
And we shot it in 3 days and entered it in all the festivals, and that was what got our recognition.
Right.
When shorts really were about your stepping stone to a feature.
Totally.
We went down to San Antonio and won the Senate Festival.
Nice.
And we started to get
Shot.
acknowledgement,
Yeah.
and the DGA acknowledged it. Even the Walt Disney Company gave us a grant just based on watching
The
it.
first short. Yeah.
And so we had a lot of help along the way based on this short.
Right. So shorts really was your first
Yeah, that was our-
foray,
yeah.
really deep foray into
Yeah.
Yeah, but what we found quickly was when we were getting these meetings, well, what are you going to do next? Well, we're going to do a feature. Well, did you write one?
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Oh, yeah.
we were kind of behind the ball in the sense that we didn't have a feature script ready
Right.
at the time.
Right.
And that's something that I think is great advice is, you know short form, but have your long form ready. because it's going to open a lot of doors, and they're going to say, well, you're good at short form, and you go, well, here's the long form.
Nice.
Because what a short does is tells somebody you can make a short.
Yeah.
And that is always, while it helps you as a filmmaker learn the craft, it doesn't help you make a feature if that's what you want to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's, I did 2 shorts, and the first one, was like the whole short film festival circuit and stuff like that. But there is that time where you go, you got to make a feature.
Yeah,
you just got to step it up and just do it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, now because of the digital format, there's so much exposure on YouTube and those things. Something we didn't have.
Yeah.
And those are great to have now. I mean, you can really expose your work throughout the world now.
Yeah, and the cool thing with this on short circuit, people can submit their shorts, their shorts, and kind
digitally,
of digitally submit it, and they kind of, the ones that are chosen, people get to choose online which ones they like, and kind of we foyer that and they showcase that. Twice a year at the theater in Palm Springs.
Yeah, it's a great time to be a filmmaker.
I think
really
so.
is. It truly is.
I'm having fun with it.
Yeah.
I'm here with you.
We're in retirement age compared to what's going on now.
Dude, there's some awesome guys.
Yeah, there's some young kids. You see them.
I know. I say me and Mark is like we feel like Brett Favre.
Favre.
Yeah, we're like Favre showing up 40-years showing this ball around now. It's like
no.
Yeah. We're gonna have one great season in Minnesota and we're done.
Well, you guys, thanks for being on the show, man. I appreciate it. And
appreciate
keep rocking.
All right, thanks, man.
Thanks.
Peace.
Hi, I'm Mark Polish. You're watching Short Showcase.
Hi, I'm Michael Polish, where shorts get shown.
In the house.
In the house.
No,
but you know what? Like Polish, shorts get shown.
Yeah. Let me get a picture with you guys.
That's like SHSH.